Hello everyone. So in this video we will be looking into chapter number 3, that is user defined methods. In previous video we already saw that what are the methods, how do we call them, what is the syntax of a method, what is called by value, what is called by reference. So you already know that call by value, whenever we pass a parameter which contains a primitive data type, then those calling statements are called call by value. And if the parameters contains reference data types, or we can say non-primitive data types, then that type of calling we call them as call by reference. Now you already know that what is method signature and what is method prototype. So actual parameters are those parameters that we use during the method call. So you know that when we create an object, and using object when we call a method, then we pass some parameters in them, then those type of parameters are called actual parameters. And the parameters which are mentioned during the creation of the method, those type of parameters are called formal parameters. So if I have to take example, public void display during the creation of the method, then this parameter present inside the argument list or parameter list, this type of parameter is called formal parameters. And when we call the method using the object variable like obj.display, and inside the parameter list we have one number, then this type of parameter, this is called actual parameter, because this is the actual value which is going to be passed inside the method, and based on this value we will be doing some specific operations. So therefore this value or this parameter are called actual parameters, and this which is present in the definition of the method, these are called formal parameters. Now you know that how we can pass the parameters and what is parameter passing. It is not compulsory to have only one parameter variable. We can use 2, 3, 4 multiple parameters in this parameter list. Now next we have returning a value from a method. We already know the syntax of the method, that first we have access specifier, then we have return type and method name. Here we have parameter list. Until now we were doing the programs where this return type, we already mentioned that it is a void. Void simply means empty. When we write void, then we don't return any type of value, because the statement itself says that it is a void, nothing we have to return. But there might be some instances where the question will be asked that you have to return some specific value. So in those type of questions we have to use this return type. Whichever return type is mentioned here, those same return type variable should be used in this expression. For example, if access specifier used is public, the return type I am taking it as int, and method name, let's say calculate. So what does this mean? That this particular method will return the value of int type. So here I will write return some number that is having a value of int type. If you want to change this to float, you can do it, but then the variable that we are passing here should be of float type. This is the only condition. And remember that we can use only one return statement in any method. So these are the rules that we should be taking care of while returning a value from a method. If you didn't understand, then don't worry, I will be creating a video on this. You will be able to understand from the example. Next we have is pure and impure methods. Now pure methods, the methods whose value remains same throughout the life of the program, then those type of methods are called pure method. Now you might be wondering that whenever a method is called, the value will always remain same. Like if I have to do math.pow 2, 3, then this method simply means that this is 2 raised to 3, which is 8. So you might be wondering that whichever method we take, it will always give the value same whenever we will be executing. But no, that is not the case. Here are some examples like math.pow, math.sqrt. This kind of methods will give us the fixed values every time whenever the parameter list is constant. If parameters are same, then always the value will always be the same irrespective of how many times we execute that particular method. But there are some methods, when we execute them, the answer that we get or the output that we get is not always same. Like this is the example, math.random, date not now. So if we try to execute this math.random, you already know that this method will give us value between 0 to 1 of double type, where 0 is included, 1 is not included. So from 0 to 0.99999, it will give us a double type of value. So now you can see that math.random will not give us the same value although the parameter list is same throughout the life. Similarly, date.now, if we execute this program today, then it will give us the date which is currently having in the system. For example, if it is 22nd January, then it will give us 22nd January. But what if we execute this method tomorrow? Then this will not give us 22nd Jan, this will give us 23rd Jan. So even if the method is same, the parameter list is same, but we are not getting the same output whenever we execute this method. So this type of methods are called impure methods. Pure methods are also called accessor methods, and impure methods are also called mutator methods. This can be a question that can be asked in MCQ type. So remember this, pure is accessor and impure is mutator. Now next we go to a very important topic, that is method overloading. Method overloading is a very important concept which is based on polymorphism. Now we know that polymorphism is the ability of a class to take more than one form. Similarly, method overloading, if we apply this concept in our program, then one method can behave in multiple forms, and therefore this particular concept is also called static polymorphism. So remember this. Now this is the example. These are the three methods that are mentioned in a program in a single class having different set of parameter type, or we can say parameter number. We see here that parameter that is present in first method is of int type. Second that is present is of float type. But in last one we have two parameters, one is of int and second is also int. So Now whenever we call a method, the method name is same, that is calculate area. We can see that all the method names are same. So now how will the compiler come to know that which method it has to execute? If I write here object name dot calculate area, how will the compiler come to know that which method it has to execute? Then the simple answer is the parameter list. Whatever parameters we have mentioned in the parameter list, depending on that value, the particular method will be executed. So if I want to execute this first method, then what I have to do? I have to pass a value which is of int type. So if I write 10 here, then 10 is an int number. This will directly go and execute this method. If I mention a number that is of float type like 10.0, then this is a float number. The compiler will come to know that this is a float number, so this will automatically call this method only. Neither this nor this method will be called. Only and only this method will be called and executed. Easy. And now last, if we pass two values which is of int type, then simple, this will call this particular method, and whichever statements written inside this method, those will be executed and it will give us the output. So this was all about chapter number 3, method overloading. In next video, I will be solving some questions based on the methods, that is having return type, method overloading, all the questions that includes method. So please do subscribe to my channel. I will be explaining the programs on methods which are a very important part of board exam. And if you have any query related to this, then you can definitely ask your query in comment section. I will try to answer your queries. And if you have any questions that you are not able to solve, then please do send those questions on my mail ID. I will definitely try to make a video on it. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one.